You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas, of mind and body. You just crossed over into Midnight Axxess tonight.
Welcome to Maxt or Midnight Axxess tonight for long. The immaculate contraception of rebel group Darkly, inspired by the divine doubters, has persisted in threats to all news media for participating in the hype on the war on terror. Max has tried hard to not speak of the rumors and speculations concerning the war and the strawberry fields out of sheer agreement in not wanting to add to the rumors as other news media persists in doing. But now facts have finally seeped in, so we break our vow of silence to give you the truth in all its muddies. The United States military is frustrated. Why? Because since the disappearance of the perpetual war, strawberry fields is going back to normal. Now you heard over and over again about strawberry fields, and as I just said, we here at Max refuse to fall into the hype, but there's no turning away from it. So without further ado, here's Horselover Darkly at a random secluded area.
Strawberry fields. You've heard of it. You've seen it on the tube and TV. You know all the speculations and you've heard all the myths. What is it?
In 2004, a year into the war on terror, ratchet bombs and antimatter bombs were unleashed over the heart of the Middle East. This combination created something very intriguing.
We're here in a very random secluded area, and I'm going to read you the news report off paper because I have no care in the world to memorize it. So here we go. In 2004, a year into the war on terror, ratchet bombs and antimatter were unleashed over the heart of the Middle East. This combination created something very intriguing. You've known since the beginning of time the strange properties of the Middle East, the slight apparitions of the future and the deep past, a blending of time and space, ghost-like appearances of Alexander the Great, of Hypatia, of even the terrible Ivan. Delusions or facts? Since 2004, the bombing of this area has allowed the Middle East and its properties to expedite rapidly, and have given a very strange area that's become known as the Vito-esque words, strawberry fields. For a very field made of blood, of war, where nothing is real, or rather, seemingly real. The antimatter and ratchet bombs have now torn apart space and time in this one general area of the Middle East, and so much that the continuing war on terror has become almost unwinnable. Stories of soldiers entering the field suddenly disappearing, only to reappear a year in the future in that very location. Stories of soldiers from the future appearing in the past. We all know of American soldier Army Good, who suddenly appeared in the field amongst Troop 611, literally out of thin air, claiming to be from the year 2011. Only to have died by gunfire from a bullet coming from, quite simply, the future. This mass confusion of material, bullets, even soldiers appearing, disappearing, vehicles suddenly come into existence on a whim, has made the war on terror quite terrifying. Until Dr. David Riskin and Dr. SWAJ helped with the creation of the perpetual war, a war machine, a sentient being. This creature was able to blend into the properties of strawberry fields and stabilize it. Now, the Americans and Brits had an advantage. Wherever the perpetual war was, stabilization was around. And the Americans, ever since, had the upper hand in the war on terror. But now that the perpetual war more than likely has a heart, as discussed by Dr. David Riskin himself in an interview he did for us a few episodes back, the stabilization has disappeared. And Strawberry Fields is now, quote, back to normal, unquote. Apparently, the United States Department of Defense and Department of Sensor Discern have commissioned Dr. David Riskin to create another war machine. But this time, with the inspiration of the perpetual war, he has refused. He was quoted as
We interrupt your current station broadcasting for an important message.
Conduct on
Nevada. This is a public service announcement provided by your U.S. Department of Central Discern. Do not drink the water. I repeat, do not drink the
water.
The recent sewage spill in the water supply has contaminated the dihydrogen oxide with brain amoebas. I repeat, do not drink the water. There is no need to fear. There is no need to fear. There is no need to panic. Water replacements are being sent to you by the Church of Jesus Christ of Purgatory's Latter-day Saints. These should be in your hands by tomorrow morning. Do not go swimming. Do not take baths.
Do not drink the water. Everything will be fine.
Everything will be fine. Remain calm. Trust in your government.
Trust in your government.
The Department of Central Discern is watching.
This far to get this point, and finally getting down to the number episodes, the much dismay or the misunderstanding of the number 0. We here at Max personally apologize for all the confusion. These new numbers and the organization of the episodes are here to stay. Now, here's an interview with astrophysicist and astronomer Abigail Hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome astrophysicist Abigail Hours to our show.
Glad to be here.
I understand you can't stay too long. You have your work to get back to, studying Maxt. Thank you for making it out tonight.
You're welcome.
How was your conference?
It went well. Phi Helderman was there. He gave a topic concerning more data from the strawberry fields. Ever since the Perpetuals' War disappearance, things have been acting like normal for the American side. And now, randomness has taken over. Apparently, America and the Brits are no longer, quote, winning the war. Whatever the hell that means.
Indeed, talk must have been quite interesting, as always concerning the fields. I'm sure our viewers are aware of all that, however, so there's really no need to rehash that here. Non-stop on the main news networks, and I already gave a brief report earlier. Did your own discussion go well?
Very, actually. It seems that on Max, similar to Mars, there was once an abundance of water. We're in the works of sending a craft there with the same mission as Phoenix, along with detecting the presence of water under its surface in the light of this new data.
Max being the planet, not our show, right?
Yes, Max being our second planet from the sun. And Mars not being that misogynistic radio show that your parent company created for late-night viewing ears.
Well, that was before David Sarnoff took up the reins of presidency over Media Axxess. He's trying to get rid of that show, but it has too many viewers to lose. His partners vote against him every time, so he has them air at the same time, meaning our viewers become split between the world of Mars and our much more enlightening world here at Max, if I do say so myself.
I agree.
So, the Russian ESA Chinese Mars mock flight, or Mars 500.
Oh yes, preparations are in the works. I say to the public, take this as a good sign that a manned flight is in the works to Mars. We had our own in the works, but that was canceled. The Russians, ESA, and Chinese, pioneers of space as always, are burrowing through their own version of mock space travel.
How long would it last?
520 days. It's expected to last until November of 2011.
And the experiment's already underway?
Yep, on Thursday, June 3rd. The hatches close in the 200 square meter mock ship, and the crew are there to perform the actual mock flight. A 250-day flight to Mars, a month exploration, and a 240-day flight back to Earth. There's a scientific research center, a medical center, a greenhouse, exercise area, pretty much what you would expect to find in a standard spacecraft. There's even a simulated Mars landscape, a Mars base, and landing vehicles. This is all for the month-long exploration. It's completely accurate to even in the 20-minute delay in communications.
And the behavioral and psychological data is the prime target of this experiment.
Correct, but there's other experiments within as well. For example, ESA is having the Mars 500 play video games to study if the electronic assistants are actually beneficial to astronauts on long-duration flights. These games consist of a lunar lander simulator, a training system scenario, a few others. They range from singular to multiplayer.
And they only get a shower once a week, I hear.
Yes, that's true. Everyone's always on about that. You don't need showers every day. It's a luxury. Every other day, 3 days at best. There's some wood paneling for comfort. They're going to have like 2 days off from their busy schedule. Remember, this was volunteered, and they're being paid roughly $1 million for the experiment. They know pretty much what they're getting themselves into. And when they're done, off to Mars, and maybe after Maxed, who knows?
Indeed, Mars Max Beyond. I like the sound of that.
Well, thank you for having me on here tonight. I hope to come back again, give a slightly longer interview. It's just work calls.
We completely understand. And again, thank you for making it out to give us this brief conversation.
My pleasure.
Coming in a world of TV, in a world of divination, in a world of comedy.
Again, there's all kinds of proof for
It's
a God.
just a
How
God.
can you sit there and say there's not proof for a God?
I just did.
The Divine Comedy.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Purgatory Latter-day Saints has been supplying Conductor, Nevada with water for the past few weeks now. Our very own David Sarnoff, president of Media Axxess, has been devoting time helping with the sewage spill over there, as well as the brain amoeba epidemic that struck in the city of Tallahassee, Nevada, as well as Papatia, Nevada. Another epidemic has been spreading, a virus of unknown origin but linked to what's happening in conduct on is slowly gripping home in the heart of Nevada. Rumors of quarantine has been heard on every CNN and NBC ad or any other letter abbreviated news program. But without any facts to go by, we'll simply tell you that something's happening. And we don't know not what. So until we do, rather than feed into the speculation, which our other news sources are doing quite well, I might add, let's continue on with the segment promised to you last episode on SGC and Screw Attack. I present to you my segment I like to call 12 Days with SWAJ III at the SGC Screw Attack Convention. Please enjoy. Screw Attack. Oh yeah, there goes Tom right there. Who remembers Tom? Yeah, what's up? That was Iron Man year 1. You saw his year 2. Big Lou and Craig doing the dance as well. Big Lou dance, getting his Killer Instinct on as they do every year. If it's not Street Fighter, it's Killer Instinct. Metal Gear bend down to his skivvies. There your boy Jose was, and then the winner Harrison. Here we are, year 3. Hitman doing his first display of what's going to be every year. Oh yeah, Righteous Brian. Yeah, what's up, dog? Oh yeah, Rock Band get played right there. And what do you know, the SGC raid. Oh snap. All the G1s don't know how to behave at the SGC raid. Take a bath, seriously. Last year, or this year rather, whoo, it stunk like a motherfucker. Back to the elevator, SGC year 4. 4 and 4 into the freestyle, 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 into the This has been Midnight Access tonight. Join us next week when we discuss the perpetual war with the computer scientist Abigail Hours' twin sister, Seth
Jobs.